No, just like
just the highlights,
just the horror ones.
Okay.
Yeah, The Raven is kind of a comedy horror entry. And,
is it a Poe? The Raven?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was the fourth one that they did.
Okay.
Then Diary of a Madman is really, really awesome. It's about like a painter that becomes
Ozzy.
Yeah, it's about Ozzy. Haunted Palace.
Lee.
Haunted Palace is my second favorite of the Corman Price Poe adaptations. But it's just as much of a Lovecraft story as it is a Poe one, because it's based on Poe and Lovecraft.
Okay, cool.
Then in 1964, he did Comedy of Terrors, The Last Man on Earth, which was the first of 3 adaptations of Richard Matheson's I Am Legend story.
Yeah.
The best, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, without question. Easily the best. And he did my favorite of his films, Masque of the Red Death, which we'll be talking about tonight. In 1965, he did his last film with Corman, Tomb of Ligeia, and one of his Jacques Turner films, War Gods of the Deep. Then in 1966, he did a movie with Bava called Dr. Goldfoot and the Girl Bombs. I've never seen that one. In 1968, he did Witchfinder General, which we'll be talking about. In 1969, he did The Oblong Box. In 1970, he did Scream and Scream Again. In 1970, he also did Cry of the Banshee, which is another Witchfinder film. In 1971 and 1972, he did the Dr. Phibes movies with Richard Fuest.
Which everyone should know those.
Yeah, and Fuest also did Devil's Reign with Ernest Borgnine, which featured collaborations with Anton LaVey.
I've been told I look like Ernest Borgnine.
You don't look at all like Ernest Borgnine.
No, you're the one that said it on a podcast.
Yeah, you did
you
make fun of him.
A long time ago.
I was probably just fucking with you.
All right, good. I'm glad I don't look like
1973, he did Theater of Blood, which we'll be talking about tonight, and then he followed that up with Madhouse, which also features Peter Cushing, who was also in the next movie he did, which was in 1981, The Monster Club.
Yeah, those are the 2 I want to watch.
Yeah, and he did House of Long Shadows.
Christopher Lee wasn't in any of those?
Christopher Lee was in House of Long Shadows and maybe The Monster Club.
That's what I thought. All 3 of them were in it.
Yeah, Pete Walker directed House of Long Shadows, also notable. It's one of 3 good movies that he did, along with Frightmare and House of Whipcord. Then he did bit parts mostly. He did Bloodbath at the House of Death. That's just kind of a bit part. He did The Great Mouse Detective, where he got to sing and do his Disney songs.
He said that was his favorite movie.
I thought he said that Theater of Blood was his favorite.
No, it was his favorite. Well, he said it was one of his favorites, but he said that he loved the Disney one because they wrote songs for him.
Oh, okay. And then he did From a Whisper to a Scream.
We covered it.
Yeah, we did that one, the James Burr. Dead Heat had a little bit part in that, and the bit part in Edward Scissorhands.
Which makes you cry.
It does. It's very emotional for me. It always makes me cry.
He was supposed to have a bit larger role, but he had Parkinson's and emphysema, so they had to shorten his role.
So he worked with Corman 8 times, Jacques Turner twice. He worked with Gordon Hessler 3 times. He worked with Fuest twice. He worked with Castle twice. He just obviously a huge figure in the horror genre between the 50s and the 70s.
One of my favorite things I've heard about him, read about him, and this is true, it actually happened. I don't know if you guys ever heard this, but the funeral for Bela Lugosi, he went there, and Bela was buried with the Dracula outfit. And Vincent said to one of his buddies when they're standing next to his casket in the visiting, he said, maybe we should drive a stake through his heart just to make sure. It's so fucking cool.
Wow.
See, someone did give 2 fucks for Bella.
Yeah.
I found out a little bit of interesting knowledge that he was born on May 27th, which shared the same birthday as
Peter Cushing.
Yeah, Peter Cushing, and then Christopher Lee was one day before.
One day before that, yeah.
Wow, how about that?
So I was like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, they're your big 3 heavies of the 50s and 60s right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then he, like we mentioned earlier, he is a avid art collector that sold his collection to a museum. And,
no, he donated.
Or donated, sorry.
Yeah.
And then he was also working for Sears, and they would send him throughout the world to find rare art pieces that he thought were
so that
worthwhile.
they could have them in their stores and stuff.
Yeah. And if anyone is still listening and they can find out for sure If the Oscar Wilde portrayal that he had between 1977 and 1980, it was a one-man show, and he played Oscar Wilde. I can't remember the name of it. Damn, I wish I had the name of it right now. But I want to know if that's available. I could look it up myself, but yeah, never mind. Don't even bother. I'll look it up. Who cares? But that sounds really interesting. I guess it was
that sounds fantastic.
Standing ovations like every show. He did 800 shows in 3 years.
And wasn't he also like a Shakespearean actor too?
Oh yeah,
like, did a lot of Shakespearean plays.
Trained in Europe.
I mean, you can tell by if you watch fucking Theater of Blood.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
The guy was definitely a fan of the immortal bard, as he put it.
And he died in 1993, right? Something like that. 2003.
No, it was
93.
in the 90s.
Yeah, 93.
Early
okay.
90s.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, he was old, but
yeah.
I first heard of him through Michael Jackson Thriller.
Yeah, that was my introduction.
Yeah.
That and Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare.
Yeah.
The intro for Black Widow.
Yep, and he died October 25th, 1993 at the age
And his
of
birthday's
82.
coming
So close to
May
Halloween.
27th.
Yep, May 27th.
So his birthday's coming up. This
is-
might not even be put out till then because I am going to be busy. But no, I'll put it out. I'll put it out right now. Right now, you're hearing it. It came out just now.
Yeah, no reviews, just just our gushing of Vincent Price.
And he's awesome. And I always thought that his voice is effeminate. I thought he might just be homosexual, but he's not.
I don't necessarily know that he wasn't maybe bi.
Maybe. Who cares?
Well, I'll say, and I think he had 3 marriages, if I remember correctly.
Just listening to him speak, he has that effeminate.
That was just, I think, the Southern gentleman in him.
He's proper.
I think he was born in St. Louis or something.
Yeah, I'll say he was born in Missouri.
Missouri. That's just the Southern gentleman coming
We
through.
had in Theater of Blood. I can't remember who it was. Which
Save it for Theater of Blood.
Okay.
Okay, on to our first film. Unless you got something else to say that besides you love him.
I just, it's always been funny to me that people mistake him for a European actor. A lot of people think that he's English.
Well,
but
he's in a lot of fucking English-based films.
he just
He's very worldly.
the fact that he studied in Europe for so long, I think, is why he comes off as European. But he's definitely a Southern gentleman.
Good.
What?
I'm glad people know that now. I'm not shitting on your trivia.
I don't think anybody's listening, so it doesn't matter. On to our first movie.
Corruptum.
No, I beg of you. Mercy, mercy. Lord Satan, send me a demon, so I may know I'm to be your wife.
Each man creates his own heaven, his own hell.
Let me see your face.
Good.
So, Masque of the Red Death is a very dramatized, fictional take on part of the life of Matthew Hopkins, Witchfinder General. It's based on a novel by Ronald Bassett. The screenplay was adapted by the director Michael Reeves.
Are you reading Witchfinder General right now, or
Tom Baker?
It's just got the same dudes in it. You're reading the back of the DVD.
Yeah, I was reading some.
I thought Masque of Red Death was the first one.
Oh, why am I reading?
Exactly. We need to do dabs. Let's go. Let's go do dabs. We'll come right back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We'll be right back.
So our first movie is Roger Corman's 1964 film Masque of the Red Death. It was the sixth Poe film that Corman and Price did together. Maybe the most mean-spirited out of all of them. I mean, Haunted Palace had kind of a mean streak, and it was fairly dark and occult. And Pit and the Pendulum was kind of dark. I mean, they're all dark, but yeah, Masque is the most sadistic and just kind of mean-spirited out of all of them. It's the prettiest to look at out of all of them.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, every frame could be paused and turned into a painting. The fact that Patrick McGee is in the supporting cast, Patrick McGee, of course, of Kubrick's Clockwork Orange and Fulci's Black Cat, and Borachek's Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Miss Osborne, the Amicus movie Asylum, and Tales from the Crypt from Amicus, and Die Monster Die with Karloff. I mean, he adds a lot to the film. He's always a great on-screen presence. I think this is Price at his most like gleefully sadistic. Like just the way that he plays Prospero is just really he just really gets into being mean, and just the spite that he feels for all of his friends, you know.
Yeah, I was
the fans.
I was thinking about that. Was that a hierarchy? The reason why he was in power of all those people, or was it he was a? Like,
well, I mean, it's Prince. I don't know, like what region it was supposed to be taking place in necessarily. Everybody had an Italian name for the most part, so I assumed that it was like Italy.
I was thinking for like a dictator type of personality that he has in this movie, he's actually kind of lighthearted, and I would have fell in line with that as long as it didn't kill me. Like I gotta dance like an
He
animal.
might just kill you on a whim, though. You know, I mean.
But everyone there seemed like they didn't have a hard job to do. Just be happy and act like an animal. Yeah. But he's like, I want you to be a pig, and you're like, oh, I could totally do that. And plus, he's charming.
I guess it just depends.
But he's not intimidating. That's my point.
Well, I mean, he killed his buddy outside the gate.
No, I mean he's vicious, but they can fucking turn. They can just beat that guy.
Yeah, he was suave. Is basically like the best.
No, I know. Then that comes along line with cults too. Like, was it maybe he was just like good with control, and I don't know. He was just like.
Well, I'm sure that it was. Yeah, I'm sure that
he was just like smooth talker.
There was definitely a hierarchy, and like everyone else that was there was rich or whatever, but they didn't have any kind of titles outside of Lord and Lady. Or
Plus,
whatever.
I guess he offers protection too.
Marquis and Marquesa or whatever.
Yeah.
But the storyline is that Prince Prospero is going to a village to collect his taxes or whatever, and he almost runs down some kid in his carriage on the way, which is pretty awesome, and EC Comics totally aped that for Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in one of the stories. While he's in the village, he discovers a woman who earlier encountered the Red Death on the road, and I love that, like, the physical representations of disease in the movie as, like, you know, colors and humans or whatever, like the guys in the cloaks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like I said earlier, the whole while he's like talking to the people, like the villagers, and hears the scream, and he's just like, "Silence that!
Silence
that!"
Oh,
that's so funny. The girl
Silence
screaming
that!
like she's just an object.
Like, yeah,
silence that.
So, like these two men start kind of heckling him or whatever while he's in the village, and he orders them garroted, makes this woman intercedes and begs for mercy or whatever, and he says that he'll spare them, but she has to decide like which of the two is going to die, and that's kind of cool. It just like right off the bat, so he almost runs over a kid. He yells to have some woman silenced like she's a fucking like farm animal or something, and then right off the bat we're introduced to the brand of sadistic game that he likes to play with people. Once he discovers that the Red Death is in the village, he orders it burned to the ground. That's pretty cool as well. He takes the woman and her two cohorts back to the castle, and that's where we meet
which it's a precaution. He doesn't want that shit to spread.
Yeah, he doesn't want it coming back to his fucking castle.
He's a really nice guy.
I guess it's just like some kind of really brutal medieval quarantine.
Yeah, just burn it with fire. You've said it like 5 times on this podcast.
Yeah. Burn it with fire. Kill it with fire.
Burn it with fire. Is there any other way? Oh, sick burn. It would be a different way to burn somebody.
Sick burn. His castle's fucking sweet. I love all the different colored rooms.
You were. I think it was a post you were talking about somewhere, but like Bava. Everyone always references. Bava
everyone talks
Argento.
about Bava and Argento for their use of colored lighting and color, but so very rarely does anyone mention Corman for that, and he deserves just as much credit as Bava because he was doing it in the same era. I think his earliest of these movies was House of Usher, and that was in '60, and like that might even predate any of Bava's really colorful films. I don't know. I'd have to.
Do you think that's because like Bava and Argento used color lighting, where Corman used colored sets.
Well, Corman used colored lighting, too. All of these movies have, like, a weird, surreal, trippy dream sequence, and they all have crazy colored lighting during those.